In football, heroes are made every season, but some of these heroes shine only once, leaving an unforgettable mark before fading away. Today, we dive into the greatest one-season wonders, players who exploded onto the scene, set the world alight, and then, just as quickly, disappeared from the spotlight. Michu, the Swansea sensation. First on our list is Michu, the Spanish forward who took the Premier League by storm. Arriving at Swansea City in 2012 from Rayo Vallecano for just £2 million, no one expected Michu to set the league alight, but that's exactly what he did. Michu was relatively unknown outside Spain when Swansea City made the surprising move to sign him. In La Liga, he had a solid season with Rayo Vallecano, netting 15 goals, but it was nothing compared to what was to come. In his debut Premier League season, 2012-13, Michu scored 18 goals in 35 appearances, including a brace on his debut against Queen's Park Rangers. His goals were critical in securing Swansea's place in the Premier League's top half. Perhaps the pinnacle of Michu's season was Swansea's League Cup victory. He scored in the semi-final against Chelsea, securing Swansea's place in the final, where they demolished Bradford City 5-0. Michu's form not only earned him widespread acclaim, but also led Swansea into European competition. But as quickly as Michu rose, his form crashed. The following season saw him struggle with injuries and loss of form. Loan moves to Napoli and then back to Spain led to his departure from the Premier League. By 2017, Michu retired from football, his 2012-13 season remaining the shining beacon of his career. Papiss Cissé, the man who scored that goal. For our next story, we focus on Papiss Cissé, the Senegalese striker who produced one of the greatest goals in Premier League history. But it wasn't just that goal against Chelsea. His entire 2011-12 half season for Newcastle United was pure magic. Cissé joined Newcastle United in January 2012 from Bundesliga club SC Freiburg. Arriving for a reported £9.5 million, he inherited the club's famous number 9 shirt, a number with legendary status among Newcastle fans. Cissé made an immediate impact, scoring 13 goals in his first 14 Premier League appearances. His goal-scoring rate was phenomenal, and he developed a lethal partnership with fellow countryman Demba Ba. His ability to score from almost anywhere on the pitch made him one of the most feared strikers in the league at the time. The moment that cemented his legacy was his second goal in Newcastle's 2-0 victory against Chelsea in May 2012. From 35 yards out, Cissé struck a bending shot that defied the laws of physics, looping over Petr Cech and into the net. After that memorable half season, Cissé struggled to replicate his early success. Injuries, tactical changes, and the departure of key players like Demba Ba impacted his form. While he had some standout moments in the following seasons, he never reached the heights of that magical run. Grafite, Wolfsburg's goal machine. Next on our list is Grafite, the Brazilian striker who helped propel VfL Wolfsburg to an unlikely Bundesliga title in 2009. His partnership with Edin Dzeko is one of the most lethal combinations in German football history. Grafite's career was relatively under the radar before he moved to Wolfsburg in 2007. He had played in Brazil, South Korea, and France before landing in Germany. Known for his strength, pace, and clinical finishing, he was solid but far from a global superstar. The 2008-09 season changed everything. Grafite was in unstoppable form, scoring 28 goals in 25 Bundesliga appearances, finishing as the league's top scorer. His partnership with Edin Dzeko saw the pair score a combined 54 goals, driving Wolfsburg to their first-ever Bundesliga title. Perhaps the most famous moment of Grafite's season was his outrageous solo goal against Bayern Munich, where he weaved through defenders and nonchalantly backheeled the ball into the net. This goal encapsulated his confidence and flair during that magical campaign. Grafite's remarkable season earned him the Bundesliga Player of the Year award. Injuries and inconsistency plagued Grafite after his historic season. He remained with Wolfsburg for 2 more years, but couldn't replicate his golden form. After leaving for spells in the UAE and Brazil, he retired in 2017. His one-season explosion remains the pinnacle of his career. Federico Macheda, the teenage prodigy. Federico Macheda's one-season wonder story is built on one unforgettable moment. In 2009, at the tender age of 17, Macheda scored a last-minute winner for Manchester United in a dramatic 3-2 victory over Aston Villa. It was a goal that seemed to signal the arrival of a future star. Macheda joined Manchester United's youth academy from Lazio in 2007. As a promising young forward, he quickly rose through the ranks and found himself called up to the first team during 2007, the 2008/9 season. In April 2009, with Manchester United locked in a battle for the Premier League title, Macheda came off the bench to score a stunning 93rd-minute winner against Aston Villa. His goal, a beautiful turn and curled finish, became iconic as it kept United's title hopes alive. Macheda followed that up with another crucial goal in his next match against Sunderland. United went on to win the league, and the young Italian was hailed as a future superstar. After his breakthrough, Macheda struggled to establish himself in United's first team, making just sporadic appearances. Loan spells to clubs like Sampdoria, Stuttgart, and Doncaster failed to reignite his form. He eventually left United permanently in 2014, and while he has continued his career in lower leagues and abroad, he never lived up to the early hype. Mido, the Egyptian phenom at Tottenham. Next we have Mido, a name that Premier League fans might recall from his electric 2005/6 season at Tottenham Hotspur. The Egyptian striker was tipped to be one of the Premier League's brightest stars. Mido's career began promisingly in Egypt before moving to Europe at a young age. He had stints in Belgium, Netherlands, and Spain before joining Tottenham from AS Roma on loan in 2005. Mido made an instant impression in the Premier League, scoring 11 goals during the 2005/6 season, including a crucial brace on his full debut against Portsmouth. His physical presence, aerial ability, and finishing prowess gave Spurs the attacking edge they needed at the time. Mido formed a strong attacking partnership with Robbie Keane and Jermaine Defoe, helping Tottenham push for European qualification. Fans were hopeful he would develop into a long-term star. But as with many one-season wonders, Mido's rise was followed by a swift decline. After injuries, fitness issues, and a loss of form, his loan was made permanent, but the magic was gone. His time at Tottenham fizzled out, and a string of transfers followed. Mido's form dropped drastically after his first full season. Fitness problems and inconsistency saw him move to Middlesbrough and then bounce around various clubs, including West Ham and Zamalek. His promising start in the Premier League soon faded, and by 2013, he retired at the age of 30. Carlos Alberto, the forgotten Porto hero. Our next story takes us to the Champions League stage, where a young Carlos Alberto etched his name into football history with FC Porto. At just 19 years old, the Brazilian midfielder played a key role in Porto's 2004 Champions League triumph under José Mourinho. Carlos Alberto burst onto the scene in Brazil with Fluminense, earning a move to Porto in 2004. He was seen as a promising young talent, and he quickly justified the hype by becoming an important part of Mourinho's Porto side. In the 2004 Champions League final against AS Monaco, Carlos Alberto scored the opening goal, becoming the youngest player to score in a Champions League final at the time. His goal set the tone for Porto's dominant 3-0 victory, capping off a brilliant season for the Portuguese club. Despite his early success at Porto, including league and European titles, Carlos Alberto's career took an unexpected downturn. He fell out of favor at Porto due to injuries and disciplinary issues, and after brief stints in Brazil and Germany, his form never quite recovered. He officially retired in 2019, leaving fans wondering what could have been. Amr Zaki, the Wigan wonder. Last, but certainly not least, Amr Zaki. When Wigan Athletics signed Zaki on loan in 2008, few in England knew what to expect. By the end of the year, Zaki had stunned everyone, making headlines as one of the Premier League's top scorers. Amr Zaki joined Wigan on loan from Egyptian club Zamalek at the start of the 2008-9 season. His physicality and goal-scoring instincts translated well to the Premier League, and he quickly became Wigan's talisman. Zaki scored 10 goals in his first 16 Premier League appearances, including a spectacular bicycle kick against Liverpool at Anfield. His performances earned him comparisons to some of the league's best strikers, and by Christmas, he was one of the league's top scorers. However, Zaki's form fell off a cliff after the new year. His discipline became an issue, missing training sessions and failing to maintain his early season form. By the end of the season, Wigan opted not to sign him permanently. That's all for today. Who else would you add to this list? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible football stories.